By law, we're required to make investments into the rainy day fund, whereas the general fund surplus, the governor has continued to draw down on that. He has increased spending every year since he has been in office, and his solution to basically fund those increases is to draw down our surplus, essentially draining our checking account. And now he wants to start draining our savings account. And anyone who fundamentally keeps a budget for even their home finances know that's probably not a smart thing to do.
A lot of talk in the news about the rainy day fund. What is it? Why do we have it? And how much money is in there? We're going to talk about all of that up next with Chairman Struzzi. So, Chairman Struzzi, the rainy day fund, why is it important that Pennsylvania have a rainy day fund?
Essentially, the rainy day fund, or the budget stabilization fund, is our go-to money in the event that there is some cataclysmic emergency for this Commonwealth. It is meant to sustain government operations in the event that we simply don't have any funding to do that.
So how much money is in the rainy day fund right now?
Currently, there's about $7.8 billion in the rainy day fund. That's roughly enough money to fund government operations for about 56 days. Ideally, we'd like to see more than that. Based on financial professionals, you should probably have closer to 11 or 12 billion in the rainy day fund right now, but currently that's where we are at about $7.8 billion.
So if the rainy day fund is kind of like the state's savings account. So in a savings account, you should have between 3 and 6 months of savings.
Absolutely.
And our rainy day fund falls short of that right now.
Yes, by a few days, but we should have a little bit more in there, which again is why it's a very serious concern when the administration starts to talk about taking money from the rainy day fund. And that is something I think every taxpayer and every resident of this Commonwealth should be concerned with.
So we have a little bit of a chart here to kind of show folks what has happened over time with the rainy day fund and with the surplus. So as you can see, the rainy day fund in 2020, 2021 budget year was $24 million. hardly enough to fund government for a couple of hours at that point. And then the budget surplus began to grow, and the rainy day fund began to grow. And so why is that? Why has the surplus kind of decreased the past couple of years and the rainy day fund increased? What was happening there?
Well, by law, we're required to make investments into the rainy day fund, whereas the general fund surplus, the governor has continued to draw down on that. He has increased spending every year since he has been in office, and his solution to basically fund those increases is to draw down our surplus, essentially draining our checking account. And now he wants to start draining our savings account. And anyone who fundamentally keeps a budget for even their home finances know that's probably not a smart thing to do.
Right.
If you don't have the money to pay your bills, you don't go out and spend more.
Sure. And so if the solution is to take money from the savings account, that's going to put Pennsylvania in a tough financial spot in future budget years, right?
Absolutely, yeah. If we continue down this path that the administration is proposing, we will have zero in our general fund surplus and zero in our rainy day fund. And then in the event that we truly have some emergency here in Pennsylvania, we have nothing to draw on. And then what happens?
Yeah, it seems like something as well that is affecting our credit rating as well. So a couple of years ago, the governor was really kind of touting this credit upgrade that came from Moody's. The year before it came from Fitch. And the state's credit rating is very similar to a personal credit rating, correct? So it helps you with borrowing.
Yeah, absolutely. A good credit rating saves you money. It gets you a lower interest rate on loans, no matter what level you're at. And so by draining these funds that have helped us increase our credit rating, we're going to cost the state even more in interest payments and things like that. So again, it just doesn't make any sense to go down this path.
And that's directly from Moody's. They said sustained structural imbalance that leads to depletion of general fund reserves and failure to maintain rainy day funds. The group that increased our credit rating said, hey, we're going to come back and lower it if you start spending the rainy day fund. So when the governor and some other Democrats say that Republicans, they just want to hoard your money in Harrisburg. That's really not what's happening here, is it?
No, it's responsible governing. You know, they are taxpayer dollars that all of us across this Commonwealth have contributed to make our state strong. And what you just said makes our state strong, having a good credit rating, having money in the bank, you know, having reserves to draw on when you need them in the event of an emergency makes our state strong. By draining the surplus, draining the rainy day fund, we are weakening this Commonwealth.
This is the backstop. If this money's gone, then what comes after that, right? That's where the tax increases come, the massive cuts come, and that's why it's so important that we get in front of this and make sure that we keep a healthy balance in that reserve.
And you said it right there. We do not want to have to increase taxes in order to make ends meet for this Commonwealth. The approach that the current administration has taken is going to force that, because we're draining the surplus, you're draining the rainy day fund, yet you continue to increase spending year over year without the revenues to match that spending. We understand there are needs in this Commonwealth that we have to meet, but the excessive spending beyond what those needs are is really concerning. And if you have to draw down your rainy day fund to meet that increased spending that in a lot of cases is not necessary, and what are the fundamental needs? That's what we should be addressing with the revenues that we have on hand.
So at the end of the day, when you think rainy day fund, think savings account, right?
Yes.
That's what it comes down to. The rainy day fund is the savings account, and you always want to have a balance in that. So this isn't an idea of trying to hide anything. Mm-hmm. You're proud of this, and you want people to understand that we have a healthy balance in the rainy day fund. We don't need to make it lower.
A good amount of money in your savings account will give you peace of mind.
Yep.
And that is what Pennsylvania has right now. We have peace of mind knowing that if we need those funds, we're able to sustain government operations for 56 days, vital services that people need. We don't believe you should be drawing on your surplus, you should be drawing down the rainy day fund, you should be growing revenues to meet those needs that the Pennsylvania residents have.
Awesome. Well, thanks so much, Chairman Struzzi. Another episode of the Struzzi Scoop.